Deliver them, we promise to build 1.5 million homes in this parliament. That's not a far-off future, that's in the span of 4 or 5 years. But now, in the heart of British politics, something far more urgent is unfolding. If you thought the Labour Party had it all under control, it might be time to rethink. A political earthquake has shaken Westminster, and Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, now finds herself at the epicenter of a storm. What were once mere whispers in the corridors have erupted into chaos. The Bank of England has lost its patience. They want her out, not in a year or a month, but immediately. In Parliament, the Prime Minister once stood tall, promising to restore trust in British politics with action, not words. Yet today, it's those very actions, or lack thereof, that are drawing fire. A budget riddled with broken promises is all it took to lay bare a troubling truth: the Prime Minister and his Chancellor have not been honest with the British people. Over and over again, Conservatives warned that Labour would spend, tax, and borrow far beyond what they claimed. And now, everything seems to be spiralling. Keir Starmer remains noticeably silent. Despite growing criticism, public outrage, and even unease from within the financial sector, he stands by Reeves. The question now isn't just about economics. What is he trying to protect? Could Reeves be guarding a secret so critical that Starmer is willing to stake everything to keep her in place? Could this be the type of crisis that not only defines but also dismantles an entire government? Reeves herself appeared recently to defend the government's housing plan, reaffirming their timeline: jobs and infrastructure now, not in 2050, but within the next decade. But it was her appearance on Good Morning Britain that turned up the heat. The hosts didn't hold back. After months of avoiding media, she was confronted with allegations that she embellished her CV. She had claimed a decade-long tenure at the Bank of England, but records show only 6 years, one of which was spent studying at LSE. Her actual role, her former colleagues say, was more administrative than economic, earning her the nickname Rachel from accounts. Just when the public's confidence in Labour's financial leadership was already fragile, these allegations landed like a hammer. But it didn't stop there. A leak soon followed, one with massive implications. Documents revealed that the UK government has allocated up to £6 billion to asylum-related spending. And this isn't just processing claims or managing infrastructure. A staggering £600 million was spent on direct support alone. This while Labour insists there's no room in the budget for tax cuts, or for strengthening public services like policing and healthcare. The contradictions are impossible to ignore. Suddenly, Labour's tight budget narrative falls apart, and with it, any sense of consistency. The public is outraged. People struggling with rent, groceries, and mortgages are asking the obvious: how is there always money for these schemes, but never enough to support working families? The Bank of England's decision to cut its benchmark interest rate from 4.75% to 4.5% should have been good news. But instead, it was overshadowed by a brutal economic forecast. Growth for 2025 was slashed from 1.5% to just 0.75%. Inflation, now at 2.5%, is expected to spike to 3.7% this summer, mainly due to rising energy prices. The bank doesn't expect to meet its 2% inflation target until the end of 2027. Reeves welcomed the interest rate cut, but it's barely a silver lining in a stormy sky. The bank's internal discontent is no longer behind closed doors. Its confidence in Reeves has all but vanished. Some insiders now view her not as a solution, but a liability. Leaked documents suggest senior figures within the bank are maneuvering behind the scenes to push her out. What was once a quiet disagreement has escalated into open defiance. The idea of an independent financial institution positioning itself against a sitting chancellor. That's unprecedented and dangerous. Reeves insists that since Labour came into office, the Bank of England has cut rates twice, inflation has dropped from 11% under the Conservatives to 2.5%, and wages are rising faster than inflation. But the reality on the ground tells a different story. Business confidence continues to crumble, and Labour's much-touted growth strategy looks more like a train wreck in slow motion. And yet, Reeves continues to pitch grand ambitions. A third runway at Heathrow, an Oxford-Cambridge growth corridor, plans she claims will create 100,000 jobs and turbocharge the economy. Critics like Ryanair's CEO dismiss it as a distraction. Sadiq Khan threatens legal action to stop it. And even if it does move forward, it could take a quarter century before it yields results. Meanwhile, ordinary people are being told to hold on through years of austerity and stagnation. What's emerging now is more than a budget crisis. It's a test of political will and personal loyalty. Starmer has refused to remove Reeves, doubling down on his support. Some now believe there's more at stake than policy. Insiders hint at something personal, perhaps even compromising. Could removing Reeves set off a chain reaction that brings down Starmer himself? Catherine Foster, GB News, political correspondent, described Reeves's recent proposals as big and bold, but cautioned that the timeline alone could doom their effectiveness. These aren't plans that address immediate needs. They're long-term blueprints in a country that needs urgent relief. As this drama unfolds, speculation in Westminster only grows. If Reeves goes, does Starmer fall with her? Could this be the moment where the Labour leadership structure finally begins to crack under its own contradictions? Behind every polished soundbite and carefully staged press appearance, the economic reality remains harsh. Reeves's first budget, once touted as the bedrock of Labour's economic future, has rattled markets. Tax increases have spooked businesses, and investor confidence has plummeted. Any hope for sustained growth seems to have evaporated overnight. They promised working people stability. What they delivered was chaos. In Parliament, the opposition laid out the numbers: national insurance up, capital gains tax up, inheritance tax up, energy taxes up, business rates up, stamp duty up, pensions tax up. The Chancellor's response: spin. But the facts can't be spun forever. Since Reeves entered number 10, the economic indicators have all trended down. GDP growth forecasts are shrinking. Private investment is fleeing. Inflation is eroding wages. And the public, already stretched thin, is losing patience. Inside Westminster, even those who once backed Reeves are now distancing themselves. The fractures in Labour's economic leadership are no longer subtle, they're gaping. And what lies ahead is anyone's guess. But one thing is clear: if the storm keeps growing, it won't just be Reeves who's swept away. The whole house may come crashing down.